participants and hackers. I am Pooja Gira here for you once again, and on the behalf of the entire Hack This Fall 3.0 team, welcome you all to the fourth workshop of our five-part series where we look forward to upgrade your skills and familiarize you with intricacies of all things technology. Today, we have with us Apoorv Dwivedi, MLH Fellow at Solana, who will be talking about the beginner's guide to full stack deployment. If, like me, you also wonder what is the right methodology to deploy your front end and back end applications, this definitely is the workshop for you. I urge all the participants to please grab a pen and paper to note down everything important and feel free to ask any queries you might have in the comment section. Reminding you about our streak of surprises, tweet about this live stream on socials by tagging us at the rate HackThisFall and using the hashtag HackThisFall, and we will randomly select the winner and send them swags. Without any further delay, let me bring up a pool for you all.
Hello
Hi,
everyone. Hello.
how are you
Hi.
doing today?
Hi everyone. Yeah, it's been great and like really excited for the live stream, and I'll try to impart some of my knowledge that I've gained over times in hackathons and fellowship in externships, internships and a lot more. So yeah, like yeah.
People are very supportive of you today. We also have people saying Apoorv Bhaiya OP, and they're also wishing you
Oh,
luck for the session. I also see somebody doing that. So
yeah,
good
thank
luck,
you very
I would
much.
say. And I
Yeah.
will not let your audience wait for you longer. I'll go backstage. I'll be back in a while. And right now, the stage is entirely yours.
Yes, I'll just share my screen and we are good to go. Yeah. So I'll just present this thing. Okay, so yeah, my screen is visible. So my name is yeah, welcome to Beginner's Guide to Full Stack Deployment, and I'll give you a brief intro about me. So my name is Apoorv Dwivedi, and I'm a full stack engineer. I was a MLH fellow at Solana Labs under the Metaplex organization. I was also a GitHub extern at Symbol.ai. I've won Smart India Hackathon 2022 as well as UNESCO India Africa Hackathon 2022. Along with all of this, I manage the technical front here at Hack This Fall. So yeah, that's a short intro about me, and yeah, we'll deep dive straight into the topic. So we'll understand the problem first. So what, which is why deployment, and why do you need a deployed app rather than just like hosting your source code on GitHub and giving the GitHub link as well as a demo video. So why deployment link is important. So consider that you have a full stack application for a hackathon or a personal project that you want to showcase to people what you built. So one method is you record a demo video and you send it to the people, and people see that, as well as you will get they'll give you a feedback of what all they want, what all they like, and what all you can improve. But the main problem with that is that people don't get to interact with what you built, and that when they don't get the hands on that product, then the feedback will be incomplete or inconsistent. So that's why deployment is a necessary part. And when you, from a hackathon perspective, so let's come from thing from a judging point. So if I am a judge and I am judging your project, and you have given a demo video and I feel like it's really impressive, but if I want to interact with your product and you don't have a deployed link, then it's a it's like I can't interact with the product, and I'll only have to settle for the video, and I'll have to believe that what you show is what is also you have built. So deployment adds the interactivity for the judges, as well as if you want to showcase your personal projects, then deployment is really necessary. And I really feel pretty strong views about it, that any web application, if you don't have a deployment, then it should not be on your resume, because like no one will be going to your source code, cloning it or forking it, and after that he will run it on local systems and then test it out, because that's a lot of hassle. So now we understood that why deployment. So we'll see what all various options we have for the deployment. So like every application has majorly three parts: the front end, back end, and a database. So front end you can build on next, React, Vue, Angular, any Python framework, and like Django and all. So that's one part where you need to deploy the front end part. Then we have the backend. So backend is generally built on Express, Nest, Flask, or Fast API, and all of that. So that's another part that you need to deploy separately, and you need to set up a communication between a front end and backend via APIs and all of that. And the third part is the database. So databases are like MongoDB, PostgreSQL, and then we have some backend as a service, a backend as service solutions as well, like AppWrite, Firebase, Superbase. So these are alternatives as well. So we'll just understand very briefly, and we'll go to hands down straightforward. So we'll understand what different options we have. So for the front end is the most simple part of the deployment, that you have a front end app and you can put it over Netlify, or you can put it over Vercel, and it will do the rest of the work for you. The From the backend perspective, it gets a little bit tricky, because backend has a lot of components and you have a lot of services. So from a hackathon perspective, when you are building a minimum viable product, you don't have to think about scalability. The major focus of hackathons is to build a minimal viable prototype rather than building a solution that is infinitely scalable. So that's the focus of the hackathons. And for the hackathons perspective, backend as a service are a really great options, because they offer you a lot of value and out of the box. Like they give you authentication, data storage, customization, functions, and all of that in one solution only. So backend as a solution, like Firebase, AppWrite, Superbase, these are like pretty good options when you are considering for a backend as a service solutions. And they can ramp up your backend development pretty quickly. But if you want to go a little bit customized, then we have platform as a service, or PaaS. So platform as a service is like they give you the platform and you give them the code. You manage a lot of the things on the platform, and you get to have a full control over that. So some free alternatives that we have on the platform as a service are Railway as well as Fly.io. So these two services are like free alternatives, and you get to deploy your app within no time. So which we will be doing pretty quickly. So and I'll just explain you what's the difference between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, backend as a service, and software as a service. So these basically differentiate between what all you manage on the platform. So in the case of infrastructure as a service, they give you a virtual machine. You take care of the OS, the middleware, the runtime. You set up the Docker containers, you set up the Linux images, and you do all the things. You set up the CI/CD pipelines and all of things. For the platform as a service, they manage a lot of things for the scalability point of view as well. What you manage is how your application performs and how your data is stored. For backend as a service, they give you everything built in. You just have to integrate the APIs and you are like good to go. What exactly is software as a service? So software as a service is end to end solution. So they are giving you their services, so they are managing everything for you, from the application to the data runtime, middleware, OS. So they manage everything for you. So what we'll do, we'll dive into the examples of how do you really deploy on GitHub, deploy your front end as well as deploy your back end. So yeah, so what I have done is basically, so I'll just open my GitHub uh, very quickly. Yeah, so yeah. So what exactly have I done? So I have created two repositories. One is the front end demo, one is the back end demo. What exactly they have is, I'll show you pretty quick. So we'll do cd dot dot and we'll do code dot. So I have just initialized the next empty next app. It's there is nothing I have edited or I have done anything. So it's just an empty next app that I scaffolded using the create next command. So we just do create npx create next app at the latest, and I just run this, and it generated the basic app, and that's it. For the backend as well, I scaffolded a pretty quick backend application. So you can so what I did was I did npx express generator backend. So what it did, it generated a pretty quick express node.js backend for me. And now what we'll be doing, so I have both of these repositories up on my github. So we have this front end demo here, and so you can see that this is just the initial commit from the create next tab. There is no other commit, there is no changes. From the backend, what we have is we just have this repository that I scaffolded using the express generator. It's a express app. So what we'll be doing is we will be deploying the front end over Vercel, and we'll be deploying the back end over Railway. So what it will help you, so it will help you that how you deploy a front end over Vercel, and you will get to know that how Railway works, what free tires you get. And I'll also suggest you some alternatives that are there in the market. And one website that I'll put in the chat for all the free resources. So it's called as free-for.dev. So here you can get a list of all the resources about free tires that you can utilize for hackathons. We have platform as a service, we have backend as a service, we have infrastructure as a service, we have databases as a service, and we have a lot more. So you can just go for this website, and you will see a lot of alternatives for this. So what we'll do quickly is we'll go to Vercel here. So that's my account, and I'll just create a new project pretty quick. And you can see that this is the front end demo here. So I'll just click on import, and you see that it detects that it was a Next.js. And the best part about front Vercel is that it supports a lot of frameworks. So even if you have a app that is not in Next.js but in any other framework, then also it is supported, and you see that a lot of frameworks are supported. For now we have Next.js. So we'll just click on deploy, and it will take some time. It will build the app, it will check, it will run some checks over it, it will assign the domain to it. Till then, what we'll do, we'll go to Railway. So this is Railway. What they propose is that you bring your code, they will handle the rest. So in the starter plan, you what you get is $5 of credits or 499 hours of deployment. So we'll just do start a new app. Now the best part about Railway is, if you see that you can provision databases over here. So if you want a Postgre database, you can provision a Postgre database from here. They will give you the credentials, and you can use that directly in your app. If you want a Redis, if you want MongoDB, if you want MySQL, you can like pretty quickly create your clusters here. And for a hackathon perspective or for personal project, 499 hours per month is pretty sufficient. uh, and if you go to the deploy template, you'll see that Railway supports a lot of things here. Like it even supports Kotlin, Spring Boot application, Flask applications, Fastify Array, Ruby on Rails, Next.js, Express.js, and a lot of frameworks, whatever you can think. So probably you whatever you will be building, you will find that thing here only, right? So we'll just go back, and we'll deploy a GitHub repository. So this is the GitHub repository backend demo. And if you go to deploy now, so what it will do, it will just create your app, and it will start the deployment. So I have no Docker file in this. So if you see this backend repository, it just has some public folders, some routes, and some views, and it does not have any Docker deployment or Docker file or Docker compose file or anything like that. So Railway manages everything for you. Like if you see the build docs, so yeah, so if you see the build log, it will load the build definition from the Docker. It will deploy your application on the Docker, and now we will have what we'll do. So if you go to this settings, so there are a lot of settings, and there is this domain. So expose this service to public domain. So we'll just generate a domain so that we can access the deployment. So this is the domain generated. It will take around a minute or a half to get the deployment up. And what all you can customize. So we have this automatic deployment. So if you push any commit on the main branch, then it will automatically redeploy your service, and you can change it to any other branch that you want. As well as what all you can do, you can select the root directory. So consider that I had a currently I have a separate GitHub repositories for backend and front end. But if I had a single repository which consists of backend as well as front end folder, then I would have to choose this root repository as slash backend, because my backend app is only in the slash backend repository. So that's what root directory does. The builder is the railways proprietary Nix pack, so we don't have to change that. You can add the build command here if your app needs to be built using some tools like webpack or anything else. Then you can add your build commands and it will build the app. Then what else you can do is you can have a start command. Like, so we had the start command of npm start. So npm start is the default command. So even if you leave this empty, railway will run npm start for you if that is configured. But if you have any other command like npm run dev or npm run prod or anything else, then you can put that in the start command. Then we have these restart policies, which is like if the server gives error when we have to restart, and how many times you have to restart. And these are some advanced things like health check. So health check is basically when the deployment is completed, it sends a request to that path to check if the deployment is up. So that's the health check, and we'll just see that if the deployment is up. So we'll just quickly, so yeah, so you can see the link, that backend demo dash production dot up dot railway, and this app is pretty quickly deployed. As if you have any variables, then you can add all the environment variables here. If you have any metrics, you can see the metrics here, what all cpu utilization is, what all memory utilization, how much network is utilized. And it will give you a fair idea of how your app is performing over the time, and how much users are there, how much traction your app is getting. Now we'll come back to the Versalab, so we'll see if the Versal thing is deployed. So yeah, Versal is deployed as well. So like I said, that Versal, it was a empty next app. So this was like I deployed this Versal scaffolded app and it got deployed. Now what all custom things you can do in the Versal? So what we will be doing, so we will go to settings here. So what all things you can do here? So you have the build command like the railway here. You have the output directory. So mostly in the front end frameworks, whenever your output is built, there is a specific directory. Like for next.js, there is next directory. Then we have the npm install command. If your app uses yarn install, pnpm install, npm install, or anything else, then you can put it there. What is the development command? So development command is not generally needed, but development command is like, if how do you run a development server of your front end. So that's what development command is. Then output directory, so that's what I explained you here only. like if we had a GitHub repository consisting of two folders, then and front end is in the front end folder, then we'll choose this root directory, what is the node version, then project ID and all of that. You can customize the domains from here. You have the integrations marketplace. Then for the GitHub, what is the production branch, and you can also change the branch here like the railway. So all these products, all these platforms work on a similar fashion and work on a similar mindset, that they have a similar set of features, but some of them are front end specific, or some of them are have a niche differentiation. Then we you can also add environment variables here, and that's like all of the things for the Vercel as well as railway. Now since so I what else we can do is that probably you can have a app with the Docker as well as maybe Docker Compose as well. So if you have a sorry if you have a if you have a Docker file in your app, and you want to deploy that, then you can definitely do that on railway. Then but one other alternative that I told you was fly.io, so you can also deploy it here, and it's also a pretty good platform regarding if you want to deploy the Docker and as well as other frameworks. So that's one thing. If you want to deploy Docker Compose, then the best thing is virtual machines. You will have to customize everything on your own, like I'll show you my SIS project. So in the SIS project, oh, this is a front end repository, so I'll do back end v2. Yeah. So this is my Smart India Hackathon project, and this is a like a big backend with a lot of features and a lot of things, lot of configurations, and it has a Docker Compose file. So what Docker Compose basically is, so it help you run multiple containers. Like we are running Redis, we are running this app server, we are running Nginx, and we are running a multiple servers here. So that's what basically Docker Compose file does. So the best answer for deploying Docker Compose will be virtual machines only, and you will have to create your own custom CI/CD pipelines. Like we have built this deployment pipeline and this workflow file. So if you see this workflow file, it runs on main, and it has a lot of it it's a basically a custom CI/CD file. What it does is basically whenever you push on main, it pulls the latest code, it SSH into the virtual machine, it runs it goes into this directory, it checks out the main branch, and it deploys this backend over there. So that's a bit about deployment, and from a hackathon perspective, I would still suggest that backend as a service and platform as a service are more than enough. If exceptionally, if you are in a long hackathons, if you are in a month over hackathons, then you and what you are building needs is a big product, it has a lot of features, then you might want to go on the path of back of Docker or Docker Compose. Because once you go into that direction, then it gets a bit tricky, because it is infinitely scalable, but as someone said, that with great power comes great responsibility. So you have to manage a lot of things, you have to tweak a lot of things. So that's about Docker and Docker Compose. And yeah, that's it from my side, and I'll be open to questions and answers. So if you have something, you can just put in the chat, and I'll be looking for them. So I'll
Now
just
I'm back. That
hello.
was amazing. I think you made all of us realize that deployment is something that's not very, very hard to do. And people
Yeah.
generally skip that. Honestly, like I understand what you were talking about, that when hackathon judges look at projects, they want to interact with it. And still people are submitting, their GitHub repositories because they feel that it's complex, they might not be able to do it. But you did it in 2 clicks, essentially.
Yeah.
So we all understand that this is a very powerful weapon that you just gave to us. So thank you so much for that. Now, just looking
Yeah.
at the questions, if somebody has a question, hmm, okay. I think they're still contemplating on the fact that it was so easy that there are no questions at all. So interesting,
Yes.
interesting.
Nice. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. So yeah,
I actually had a question of my own. If you would
yeah,
like.
yeah, definitely.
So, this deployment technique that you just mentioned, are the frameworks that you mentioned JavaScript based, or people can go with like different languages as well, like Python, Golang, or Rust if they have different backends in different languages?
Okay. So like if you have the backend in different languages, I told you that Railway gives you a lot of support over, like it
Mhm.
even helps you deploying the Kotlin and Java app. So it has a
Amazing.
lot of frameworks supported, like Ruby and Ruby on Rails. And even if you don't find a direct solution service, then Docker is here to your rescue, and you can definitely use the you can create the Docker file, and you can upload it to fly.io, or you can upload it to Railway as well. The only thing is that if there is a framework that is not supported directly, then you'll just have to create your own Docker file, and that gets deployed like within seconds. So,
Awesome. That is actually great. So Krish has a very nice appreciation message for you, that there are no questions, just appreciation for this amazing session. And I
thank
think
you.
next time we want a detailed intro into Fly.io as to how we can create a Docker file, because that is something I myself want to learn. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
definitely try
definitely.
to do
We'll
something about that.
definitely do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Apoorv is always available for all things tech.
Yes. You can reach out to me on Twitter, on mail, wherever. So yeah.
Yeah, you can see Apoor's Twitter handle on his on a screen, the little window that you see, Apoor Dvi. So you
Yeah.
can do that, and I hope you're tweeting about this live stream as well. So
Yeah.
again, Pratham says that he learned something new today. So thank you so much, Apoor, for helping
Yeah.
our amazing audience with that. Now
Thank you.
I would take your leave as well, and
Yeah.
thank you so much once again for coming here.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye bye.
All right, everyone. So that was the fourth session that we conducted. However, there is one more that we still have for you folks. So you can join our Discord, the next workshop that we have, the final workshop of our 5-part workshop series using JavaScript for client side authentication by Mr. Praveen Kumar. That will be conducted on January 27th at 5 p.m. So set the notifications. You can click the bell icon on our YouTube channel, or you can join our Discord for getting real time notifications about the same. And once again, thank you so much for joining. Have a great day ahead.